I just got up from the seat where we were eating or about to eat. My tribe and I, after having come from church, interesting day in church, because the kids, Nova and Brave, seem to be squeezing onto me in ways that they hadn't in the past when we were in church, and maybe they felt something, you know, not just out of the mouths of babes, but from the spirits of babes. The kids know. I just feel really upset, as confused as many of you are. I feel like it's tough being a part of the peer group that Kobe was in and Nipsey was in, and as we celebrate him tonight, and Kobe does his ultimate flight on this Sunday. It's crazy to me. His kids. So if anybody needs, I guess, somewhat of an encouraging word or whatnot, kind of speechless, but I just felt like it's incumbent upon me and others like me to give the same word that Kobe would give right now, some sort of victorious word. And ironically, as a private plane flies over here right now, all I can give in word is just give them roses, man, while people are still next to you. I always thank God that I'm somebody not afraid to. Ironically, I was going to leave a video this week, but it was going to be directed to the fans, those that feel upset about this show that I was able to be a part of for 6.5 seasons, and them being very disappointed as to how it ended. But ironically, it ended in a way that is equally as fictional as the character was fictional, that I was, I guess, gifted enough to bring to life with the aid of Courtney Kemp and Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and stars, and the writers' room and everybody that Courtney had hired, my castmates, the crew. But it's fictional, you know, and Ghost didn't really die because Ghost never really existed. But if there's elements of him inside of me and me inside of him, that's what it is. Part of my gift, part of my crossover, part of my fadeaway jump shot, my drive to the hole, my ability to score on a football field, my ability to intercept balls on a football field, all those things that I actually did. It's not an actual reality that goes past, but it's an actual reality, obviously, that actual human being who God put on this earth was so much more than just dribbling a basketball and being as dynamic and as gifted at it as he was, and his beautiful tribe. And God bless you, Vanessa, man. So just say you love each other to each other. If anybody out there is listening and wanting these levels of confusion to not fade away, but to at least subside so you can make it through the rest of your day, night, week, month, next decade, next 20 years. It's very upsetting.
What's happening, YouTube fans, Power fans, and all fans alike? Today we're gathered in mourning the day after Kobe Bryant life was tragically ended due to a helicopter crash. And what you're seeing right now is a video where someone wanted to be an a-hole. They spliced together a helicopter crash that happened in another country with real parts of the cleanup and recovery of the Kobe Bryant helicopter crash. But what you heard before this was Amari Hardwick of Power doing two things. He was gonna make a PSA to Power fans about the ultimate fate of Ghost, and you heard him say what happened. And he was also going to talk about what happened with Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant just took precedence because of what's happening right now. This is devastating to me, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're expecting this to be a foreshadowing of Kobe Bryant's basketball accolades, this is not going to be the right video for you. This is going to be a video from me giving you my heartfelt thoughts on Kobe Bryant off the court. The man and the way he conducted himself as a father. Because for those of you that don't know, I'm getting ready to be a father, and not just a father to a little girl. And Kobe Bryant, and I quote, said, "What the hell do I need a son to pass on a legacy of greatness that can be done through a daughter?" And I'll never forget that quote. And I followed him as he's done his thing with his daughters. And all the man could do is spit out little girls. And he made it cool to be a daddy raising little girls. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to recap what we found out so far and go through everything we know about Kobe Bryant and the future. If you're finding me for the first time, please subscribe to my channel. This video is going to be under the playlist Daddy Day Home, which is the playlist I was going to start making when I have my first child and daughter at the age of 40. Coming soon. She'll be here in July. And I'm putting this as my first video because this is a heartfelt video about a man who was a legend on the basketball court, but starting to be an off-court legend in other areas, but more importantly, in raising this kid. Take a quick look at the news clip that has dropped since we've gotten more details in the last couple of hours about the helicopter crash and the other people that we cannot forget that were in a helicopter crash.
New reporting on that devastating crash. TJ Holmes starts us off near the scene of the crash in California with the latest. Good morning, TJ.
Robin, good morning. And there are a number of families in pain this morning after that crash here in this neighborhood, in the hills in this neighborhood behind me, that killed 9 people. But in particular, the loss of Kobe Bryant is hitting the LA community, the NBA community, the sports world, and in fact, people all over the world really hard. People are in disbelief that this global and cultural icon could be gone.
Shock and heartache around the world at the news. Kobe Bryant, dead at 41 years old, killed Sunday when the helicopter he was in crashed in the hills of Calabasas, California. Also on board, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, and 7 others on their way to Kobe's Mamba Sports Academy in Newbury Park for Gianna's basketball game. Kobe was expected to coach. This photo was taken at the gym filled with kids who'd been awaiting Kobe's arrival. They kneeled on the court upon hearing the news. Kobe's helicopter took off from Orange County just after 9 a.m. for what was expected to be a short trip. But at 9:45 a.m., tragedy. The helicopter crashed into the foggy hills.
Visibility 2.5 miles with haze, ceiling 1,100 overcast, temperature 122.8.
Before the crash, the LAPD grounded all police helicopters, saying weather conditions did not meet the standard for flight, though it's unclear if weather played any role in the crash. We are learning this morning there was an unusual rapid loss of altitude and increase in airspeed seconds before the crash. The NTSB and the FBI are both at the crash site investigating. Kobe often used helicopters to get around L.A. Here he is in 2016, even regularly taking his own helicopter to home games during the NBA season.
He loved being in that helicopter. He certainly was never really concerned about it. For him to be gone, particularly through these means, is incredibly tragic.
Just weeks ago, Kobe and Gianna, known as Gigi, were spotted at a Brooklyn Nets game having a father-daughter courtside moment that went viral.
I love this.
Fans showed love for Kobe at the Staples Center, and tributes continue to pour in for the man his fans lovingly call the Black Mamba.
Kobe Bryant has hit a shot at the buzzer!
Former teammate Shaquille O'Neal tweeting, "There's no words to express the pain I'm going through with this tragedy of losing my niece Gigi and my brother. I'm sick right now." And Magic Johnson called Kobe the greatest Laker of all time. During Sunday's games, players paid tribute, many of them holding back tears. The San Antonio Spurs and the Toronto Raptors among many of the teams who took a 24-second violation at the start of the game to honor Kobe, who famously wore number 24. The NFL Pro Bowl also quickly turned into a tribute. One of the greatest to ever take the court, the proud father of 4 daughters transcended sports, telling me he wanted a legacy beyond basketball.
That's been what we do. That's not who we are. We've all been something more outside of our craft. And we look forward to continuing to grow and continuing to evolve as people.
So ladies and gentlemen, just to recap everything that was said, 9:06 a.m. Pacific time, January 26th, a helicopter owned by Bryant departed from John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California, with 9 people on board, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not forget about the other 9 people. Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, they call her Gigi, Gigi's peers, and their parents. Now this is where it's gotta pull your heart, because it wasn't just one family, it was a whole lot of families. College baseball coach John Altbelly, his wife Carrie and daughter Alyssa, Sarah Chester and her daughter Peyton, basketball coach Christina Mauser, and the pilot Aria Zabin. The helicopter was registered to the Fillmore-based Island Express Holdings Group, according to the California Secretary of State Business Database. The group was traveling to Bryant's Mamba Academy for a practice session when the helicopter crashed in Calabasas. Due to light rain and foggy weather that morning, the LAPD helicopters and most other air traffic was grounded. The flight tracker shows that the helicopter experienced issues while above the LA Zoo. The helicopter circled the area 6 times at an altitude around 850 feet, and people, that is not that high. At 9:30 a.m., the pilot contacted the Burbank Airport Control Tower, notifying the tower of the situation. At that time, the helicopter experienced extreme fog and turned south towards the mountains. At 9:40 a.m., the helicopter climbed to an altitude from 370 to 610 meters, flying at 161 knots, which is basically 185 miles per hour. At 9:45 a.m., the helicopter crashed into the side of the mountain in Calabasas, about 30 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles, and caught on fire. Authorities were called to the helicopter. The helicopter passed over Boyles Heights near Dodger Stadium and circled over Glendale during the flight. Personnel from the Los Angeles County Department of Fire attended the scene. The fire had been extinguished by 10:30 a.m. None of the 9 occupants survived. Initial reports indicate that the helicopter crashed in the hills above Calabasas in heavy fog. Witnesses reported hearing the helicopter struggling before the crash, and the fire chief came out and said that one reason that stoked the fire was it was covered in magnesium, the helicopter was. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned the name of all these other families involved in this story. We cannot forget those other families as well, ladies and gentlemen. The story is so touching to me because I'm getting ready to be a dad of a daughter. And Kobe Bryant and what he was doing off the court was inspiring me to take that mantle to be a good dad to a daughter. Now, I must admit, I was never a fan of his on the basketball court. And that's not because he wasn't a good player, it's just because I'm an East Coast guy. I like teams on the East Coast. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a fan of the Miami Heat and the Miami Dolphins. So I'm an East Coast guy. I didn't care for the West Coast players, West Coast athletes, none of that. But off the court with his daughter, this man showed me a pathway to how you can, no matter whether you have a boy or a daughter, whatever your legacy is can be imparted into a daughter, which is certain greatness. And in most cases, I have to say, all greatness starts with women. So no matter what you have, you can impart greatness into it. But for a man raising a daughter, it can be tough at times, but he showed a pathway to make this thing really, really good. And for that, it's going to be his legacy to me, among all the other things he's done. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we did have some buttholes posting stupid-ass videos and commentaries such as this.
Perfectly cast on the Los Angeles Lakers. Kavita, if I could ask you to stay with us. Perfectly cast on the Los Angeles Lakers. Kavita, if I could ask you to stay with us. Perfectly cast on the Los Angeles Lakers. Kavita, if I
When you evaluate the life of someone who dies, yes, you have to talk about the things that they've done that might be in error or wrong. But the way you couch those things, you couch it based on the overall impression of a person's life. Now, yes, Kobe Bryant did have that one Colorado slip up, but you don't couch that in the manner these people were trying to say it. Because overall, when you go through the totality of Kobe Bryant's life, the man lived a life of giving back and of charity, not to mention he was able to legally overcome what happened in Colorado, and his wife stood by him and stood by his side to overcome those things, which is an achievement off the court, just to go through such a thing and have your wife stick by your side with all the break in trust, the breakdown in the family dynamic, and to have them stay by his side to overcome it legally. You have to couch it in that way and not just make these hater-ass statements the way these people tried to do. So yes, when you have situations when people die, you have to go through their whole life. But when it comes to the person just dying in this manner, you have to be careful by the way you approach it. Obviously, you can tell those people could care less about Kobe Bryant because they didn't couch what happened to him in the correct manner. But I am here to say, as a person who was not a fan of him on the court, I am a complete fan of who he was off the court. The man won an Oscar. He was writing children's books. He was writing short stories. But more importantly to me, the man was being a great father to daughters. And I commend him. I wish his wife Vanessa well. I wish all the other families in this situation well. And we all need to take a moment right now to think that if we have loved ones and petty squabbles with those loved ones, to really evaluate how short life can be, how fragile our life is as human beings. Kobe Bryant is probably touching the heart of so many people going back a quarter century, because we had an opportunity to see him from 17 years old to 41, and the maturation from him being a teenager to a grown man, having adult responsibilities, to becoming a father and raising kids and trying to do things the right way once he decided to open up his life to the media. And for that is why I did this video, for his legacy of being a father to daughters. That is why I did this video. It inspired me. It's given me a pathway to be a great father to a daughter myself. Please leave me all your comments about how you feel about this whole situation, what you think Kobe Bryant's lasting legacy is, and if you haven't done it already, squash beefs you have with someone that you love. Go hug your loved ones right now. Make each and every day a memory to family, friends, and people you care about, because none of us know when that day is going to come, when it is our last one. That's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like my video. Please comment, subscribe. Go get yourself a Life Game, people. Follow me on the Life Games podcast, as I will be putting out more of these videos. Follow me on my main channel, which is my name, Lamont Tyson. And follow me on this channel, which is the Life Game Reviews channel. This is going to be a channel where I'm going to be putting out all the information about me, my wife, and our soon-to-be here daughter. And we're still teetering on a name, but I think we have settled on one. And until the next sexy as hell video, I'll see you.